that we have, we are going to unlock the 5, 10, 15, 20 people in front of us. Because if you have a $50,000 return or tuition, any way you want to look at it, right? If you do investments, you could be making more money than you ever imagined in half the time. Remember, you can hire someone at $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000, maybe $5,000, maybe $10,000 at the most. Can we just be real? If you're making $100K a month, is it worth it? Yes or no in the chat. Is it worth it? 100%. 80% done by somebody else is 100% freaking awesome. I'll see you in 5 minutes. Love you guys. Welcome back, everybody. Ignore the 15-minute thing that's happening here. Team will come on in. Welcome back. Welcome back. As you come in, bring your water, bring your coffee, bring your snack. Duct tape your kids to the wall because it's the time to do the belief behind the buy. The belief behind the buy. We want to be constantly like CIA agents where we're looking at what is the real conversation. What is really going on here? What are they really thinking? What is really the obstacle? Do they really believe in themselves? Is it a belief issue in themselves? Is it that they actually want something? Because sometimes it's good just to ask, what would make this a yes for you? Now, there's a timing for that too. So again, there's nuance. Somebody put nuance in the chat. Now, again, I would love to say there isn't nuance. And I want you to understand the things where there's no complexity. And what I'm saying is, there's no nuance involved. There's nothing that's sophisticated. There's nothing that's really going on. Means low payout. Right? If you have a product, if it's just transactional, right? Nobody goes to the store to get milk and says, what's the belief around you drinking milk, right? Like we just don't do those things. That would be weird. But the payout comes in the high payout for yourselves to stay in, and again, high ticket, premium value offer, whatever you want to call it, financial services, anything that is where there's going to be recurring monthly income or being paid properly, being paid well, there's going to be some nuance, the nuanceonomics. And the more that you do it, right, it's a skill set. This is why I don't like it when people over spiritualize things. Now, everything is spiritual, so please understand, everything is spiritual. Everything is. But when we over spiritualize certain aspects of it, we talk ourselves out of things. So I'm excited today because we're going to do some more, right? More of this belief architecture. It's like a belief architecture lab, I would say. So make sure your cameras are on, just because I like to be able to see your faces and I want to be able to help. And we're going to be leaning in to be able to really discern what is going on with your clients, right? And I'm curious before we get started, because some of you were doing some of the homework yesterday. I know we have people that, we had tons of people actually register. You have people show up, people don't show up, people watch replays, whatever. It doesn't matter. To me, I focus on the people that are here. So put I am in the room because we're going to have fire. We're going to break through today. Right? How many deeper conversations did you have? Are you thinking a little bit differently? What, was there somebody said something that you never fully understood before, and now you're hearing it a little bit differently? Right? Somebody discovered that their prospect did not merely want more revenue. They wanted their spouse to stop carrying the financial anxiety of the household. Maybe somebody discovered that the prospect did not merely want a team. They wanted to stop resenting the company they had prayed to build. Someone discovered that their prospect didn't merely want visibility. They wanted to show their work would not disappear unnoticed. This is currency. So when I talk about currency, currency is the value, right? What your prospect deems as important, the value to them. Because when the value is high, so if they see lots of value, they will find the money to pay you. This is simplicity. So I want you to understand that because desire and decision are not the same thing. So desire reveals what they want. So you may have people say, this is what I really want. This is where I really want to be. Whatever that might look like. Belief determines whether movement feels possible. Belief determines whether movement feels possible. So we're looking at, yes, they're saying desire, right? They're saying yes to desire, but they're also saying that they're not being really clear with you. So they'll say, yes, I really want this thing. But then you'll start to get into the real conversation where their belief will determine what feels possible. So we're going to unlock some of this today. I would love to hear from one person. What's a conversation you had yesterday that your mind was just a little bit different because you had been doing the work here all week? What's something that for you is just like, you're like, okay, wait a second. I'm seeing that there's a level of conversation that's happening differently than I did. Quickly raise your hand. I know everybody. It's Tavia. Go ahead. Action takers are money makers, guys. What did you notice
I,
different?
I noticed differently that I think she reached out to me on social media, but we winded up talking and having conversations, and she asked different general questions. She's a trainer, a fitness trainer. And then she asked me, like, how did you find your mentors or something like that? So I answered her question, but literally that was like Saturday. Literally, it just hit me because I didn't know how to transition the conversation. Like, I'm like, I'm a coach, right? Yeah. And
Right.
so now I just realized that I should probably ask her, what result would you like to create in your life that you were considering a mentor for? So I can figure out like what's
Come
going
on. That's
on.
awesome. Way to go, Tavia. That's great. And see, if you have that light bulb go on every time, you see how we're starting to find gold in the garden. Gold's already there. Some put gold is already there. It's us who didn't have an awareness. Once you start to have that awareness, your reticular activating system is happening in business because now you're constantly curious, constantly learning new questions, constantly thinking about what to say next. I'm proud of you. That's awesome. Keep doing that, Tavia. Keep doing it. Everybody keep doing it. So that's exactly it, right? We want to be aware of what's really going on because two beliefs can exist at once. Somebody put two in the chat, right? Somebody can say, I need this, and at the exact same time be thinking, I'm afraid I will fail again. So there are two things that are happening at once. And sometimes clients that say, like, I need this, I want this, I'm wanting to work with you, I'm wanting the help, I'm wanting all that. At the same time, they're saying, I'm afraid this will fail again. So if you think that it's going to be simple, you're being naive. And if you think it isn't a skill set, you're being unwise. This is no different than law school or an MBA or a PhD. This is the training that will have you actually have a successful life because you'll be able to figure out the financial part. You'll be able to figure out, do I really want to work with somebody? You'll be able to figure out what are people really saying, which helps your marriage. It helps your relationships. So they can say things like, this offer is valuable at the same time, and investing this amount feels irresponsible. And learning how to ask the next question. They can be thinking, I want to grow, and I am afraid of growth will cost me my peace. And whose job is it to unlock them at the next level? Is it waiting on them till they get the money together? Is it waiting on them till they think it's the right time? Is it waiting on them? It's us. Put it's me in the chat, right? We tend to be what's in the way most of the time. So there's 7 beliefs of a premium decision. So you'll be walking through their premium decision making. They're going to see that there's a problem. They need to know that there's a problem. They need to know there's a consequence to not taking action. They need to know about the possibility. They need to be clear on some methods. They need to have a guide. They need to the self, the things that are going on with themselves, and then there's a decision. So there's lots of little micro steps that are happening. This is why it's important that you work at the highest level possible. Because can anyone see if you're doing this for $47 that you're like, not worth it? Come on, the real people here, right? If you're leaving a job and going into being self-employed, you want a system and a structure that you can put clients on repeat when you choose to. I like to think about it about turning on a tap and then you turn off a tap. You need to take 3 weeks alone with the kids, you turn off the tap, which means your team can still have everything totally running and setting up for you when you come back. Your team could still be doing 10-minute calls. Your team could still be, if you choose. Or you can just turn it off and turn it back on. That's something that you can put on to repeat when you choose that you want to. They may not be actually questioning your credibility. They're actually questioning their consistency. Some of you, when you hear them and you feel like, oh my goodness, they're thinking about am I credible? And you want to send them 27 pages of testimonials when you're not answering the right problem. They may be saying, here, they're just talking like, well, what have you done before? But this is what's really going on. They're questioning their, right, in terms of, right, everyone's heard of the words projection and deflection. So you want to be paying attention for when people are actually projecting on you the things about themselves. They're actually really thinking, wait a second, I've done programs before. I start for 2 weeks and then I don't even do it anymore. And wouldn't it be better that we bring some of that to the surface during the sales process? Because if we can unlock it, uncover it, and really expose it in a beautiful way, right? The word says that God exposes for the pure purpose of healing. So we want to expose it only for them to actually have the breakthrough. If they have that breakthrough through the sales process, they're not going to leave your program, because they're going to see you're consistently working with them step by step. And if you have a prospect who takes ownership for their own results, they are going to keep going and keep after it. You've got to listen for the vernacular. If their vernacular is, well, I didn't do this because it was this program and this person's fault, they're going to say the same about you. Objection, belief, or constraint. So when we hear an objection and express concern or question, it may often it's something that's going on below. A belief gap, something they do not yet believe strongly enough to move. So if you see that there's a belief gap, it's whose responsibility to be able to increase, right, and help them strongly believe. That could be sending them content. That could be, right, you want to be assessing where are they at on the belief bridge all the time. This is with them buying. This is with them just starting. So if they're just getting started and you're just unlocking them, you want to know that they're problem aware when you're talking to them in the chats, right? Like, how long has this been? It sounds like this is something that's really bothering you. How long has this been going on? Again, we'll look at the person that Tavia was just saying. She's saying, without her really saying it. See, this is what we've got to diagnose. She's saying, what did you do when you were hiring a coach? What was your things that you were thinking about? She's really saying, like, she's wanting to be unlocked. I want you guys to see that people want to be unlocked. They want you to ask a question that reveals what they're really saying. Now, this isn't passive aggressive. This is just how most people speak. They'll say they think, well, how did you go about hiring this? They really want to know, what are some ways that I can discern and see if a coach is really excellent? And so Tavia, even in that, because you don't want to ever jump to, if somebody asks something like that, you don't want to jump to, oh, well, you should hire me because I'm really great this way. Or jump to, something else. You could say, well, what are some of the things that are the most, what would you say is the most important to you? Just like Tavia was saying, what is most important to you when you are considering hiring a mentor? Then there's no sales resistance. Sales resistance occurs when we have those higher level conversations, this level over here, when we have the real buying conversations too early. But you can also miss the sale by just having it too late. Like, I know that if I'm with somebody and if I'm not being a little bit more firm about things, I know they're going to keep going around the mountain. They're afraid to invest, but actually investing and making the decision is the first step they need to step into their new territory. It's not your first module in your course. Their first step is investing. The second they invest, they break off like a whole ton of things from the lower level. Investing secures your spot at the higher level. Your prospect is not only evaluating offer, they're evaluating themselves. And when we avoid thinking that they're evaluating themselves, we're not in the real conversation. So we want to be in the real conversation where because conversions happen in conversations. We want to enter into where they really are speaking. Like, what's really important to them. Right? Mark 9:24 contains one of the most honest statements in Scripture. Lord, I believe, help thou mine unbelief. Lord, I believe, help my unbelief. So both things were present. Somebody put both. Both, right? It's the both and. Both things are present. Unbelief was present, belief was present. So this is what you're facing every time you have a conversation with somebody. There are two things that are happening at once. They want it, they need it, the offer is valuable, they want to grow, they want all these things. I'm scared, I'm not sure if I can do it, I have all these other problems, I don't know if my husband will want me to invest again, I just became a single mom, is it wise to do this? And they want you, guys, everybody put they want me to. They want you to walk them through the process. They don't want to stay stuck. So again, when the process says I need this, they also believe I may fail again, right? When they say, this would change my business forever. They can also in the very same sentence say, success might cost me my peace. So all these things are happening. Put I get it in the chat, right? All these things are happening. A premium decision becomes difficult when the desire is strong, but the competing belief feels safer. Our job is not to overpower the competing belief, right? That is the old way of sales. Our job is to help the person examine it honestly. Sometimes belief is inaccurate. Sometimes it contains wisdom. Sometimes a person has a real constraint. We're not here to convert every concern into a mindset problem. Money can genuinely be unavailable, and timing can generally be wrong. An offer can genuinely be unstable. A decision can genuinely require another stakeholder. Decision intelligence means we find out what is true. So you keep asking, right? You keep asking. Sometimes you'll hear me say, I hear you say that, but I feel like there's something else going on below the surface. I'm hearing you saying this, but share with me a little bit more about what that means to you. Getting more granular as to what this means. So somebody says, right, so somebody says, I need this. Let's not just assume what that means, because they also are believing, I'm afraid I might fail. Right? They're feeling they might fail, which to me, we should be looking for ways to fail all day long. We should be looking to fail fast all day long. Because if you're not failing fast and moving to the next thing, you're not growing at all. But they're saying, I need this. Okay, I'm just curious. When you say you need this, what does that mean for you? Right? You want to just keep getting granular, because if you don't get granular, you're making assumptions. If you make assumptions, you're not closing a sale. They don't need to see your resume about how credible and authoritative you are. If you ask questions in the way I'm teaching you, they will see that you have authority. So I want you to think about one real prospect right now. I want you to think about something that they need right now. And I want you to think about, like, do they believe the current problem is real and meaningful? So let's go back up to these decisions. Do they believe the problem, where is it here? Do they believe that the problem is real and meaningful? Or do they see the consequences, right? So if somebody says, oh my goodness, I'm just so burnt out creating my business this way. I'm doing this side hustle and all these things. You know they're going to have to let go of 5 things. Can you tell somebody when you're first meeting them, you need to let go of 5 things? Yes or no? No. So we're going to ask questions to reveal for them to see. So I'm just curious, if you don't prioritize one of your offers that sells the best, what could be the consequence of this? Right inside of that, right inside of that is the ability for them to persuade themselves. They're going to go, oh snap. Oh my goodness, like what if I don't? I'm doing this, I'm doing one-to-one, I got this side hustle, and I got this business, and I got my full-time job. So at some point, guys, we got to just cut the rope. and jump over the line like we did in the VIP room. We've got to go, this is a line in the sand. I'm jumping over and I'm just going to stop. Now, it gets tricky because we are, as Christians and as, whatever other faith you have, we're called to multiply. We're called to be multipliers. We are called to step in. This is why people who aren't even Christians who follow biblical principles are successful, because they're successful principles. Right? We're called to be multipliers. We're called to step in and multiply. However, at the very same time, that the good can be the detriment of the best. If we're doing way too many things, we're spreading ourselves too thin. We're not getting enough done. I mean, any of you founders know what I'm talking about. You got like 5,000 creative ideas a minute. You're like, okay, I'll do this and I'll do this, which actually comes in handy because boring makes billions. And so you have to take your everyday normal thing that you're doing all the time and make it exciting and vibrant. You've got to find new ways to sell the same thing. So you focus on that. So when you think about one person, I'm going to walk you through one consequence, one problem. What's the possibility that they're considering? What method? And this is what I'm thinking of for some of you who do need to have more of that. Gila, Tavia, probably Leanna, and probably others. It's time that you have a methodology that's brandable. I can help you with that. That we have something that's a system that nobody else can lock into. Because then there's no competition, right? There's no competition. I know no one does what I do. Now, some people may have some portion of it. Some people may unlock people emotionally, but it's not genuine. So you want to have something that they can see. Do they trust you, your company, or the person delivering the solution? So the guide, is there a trust around that? Do they believe that your approach makes sense? Do they even know what your approach is? So if somebody hasn't watched any of your content, been to your master classes, it's just unwise. You want to make sure that they've been watching some of your content. They're watching the videos, they're going to the next thing. Do they believe the desired result is genuinely possible? Do they believe it's possible? Because if they don't believe it's possible and you're trying to walk them past the possible side, you are trying to land too much weight in somebody's lap who can't take it. This is why we pause. So through the possibility, if they're not, right, you want to unlock that. If they say, oh, I don't believe that I can. I really want to, I need to, but I'm afraid I'll fail again. Well, share with me, what would failing again look like for you? What would failing again look like for you? If we don't ask the right questions, we are going to be working with misinformation and we're not going to be bringing them to the next level. So we have the consequence, we have the possibility, we have the method. Where's my little piece again? We want to make sure that they have the belief in themselves, that they can implement, receive support, and follow through. So you're unlocking that whole process while you're asking them. Now, again, some of these things you may not have to do. If somebody shows up with full identity, full on, I know what I'm called to. I have the mindset. I believe I can do anything that God's calling me to. I'm just looking for the right mentor to help me get there, right? You may be able to hop over some. Do they believe the timing, investment, and the next step are responsible? Right? Because somebody might say, oh, I don't want to spend $50,000. That means they don't understand return on investment. They just don't get it. Like to me, if somebody comes to me and says, you pay me $50,000, I'm going to get you to 10x, 20x result, it's a no-brainer. If they actually do what they say they do and they're credible, then 100%, right? Like, who wouldn't? Why would we keep doing time for money trade if that's actually the truth? So you want to figure out what it is. Okay, so I want you to think about with your people of those things right now. Again, they are problem. Do they believe the current problem is real and meaningful? 2, consequence. Do they believe remaining where they're at has a cost? 3, do they believe the desired result is genuinely possible? 4, method. Do they believe this approach makes sense? 5, guide. Do they trust you, your company, or the person delivering the solution? 6, self. Do they believe they can implement, receive support, and follow through? 7, decision. Do they believe in timing, investment, next step, or responsible? Okay. So I want you to think, does everybody have somebody in mind? Everybody, somebody you're thinking about right now? Who is ready to walk through that? Who is ready to walk through that? Leanna, let's go, let's go, let's go. And I want all of you doing it at the same time. I don't want anybody to like check out. Let's get right into thinking, what is this? I think something's happening here when we got some spotlight issue. Okay, here we go.
There you are.
So there I am. That's right. Okay, when you're going through with somebody, now guys, I want to quickly say though, before we go into with Leanna, because if someone is showing up that they like have no belief, they're at the right level, they're not showing up as coachable, we're not talking about that. We're talking about somebody who is showing up like they are going all in. They look like they'd be a really good client. Okay, we're not trying to turn somebody who's not doesn't have the possibility into making it possible. Right? That's where people feel like sales feel awkward. Sales is awesome when it is an actual solution meeting the person exactly what they need. That's how it should feel. It should feel like, wow. And the person who's paying you should feel that they're getting the better end of the deal. They should be like, oh my goodness, I just get breakthrough, breakthrough, breakthrough. All right. Leanna, how can we walk through with your person? How can we walk through somebody?
Okay. Thank you for this because I've been thinking, what's my next question? She had a strategy call book today and things were looking pretty good. She was like, thank you for the deep questions. And some kind of crisis happened with her daughter. And so now she's like, I've got to focus all in on my daughter. And so I'm sitting here thinking, okay, what's really going on? Does she need to pull back right now? Or could what I have be the answer that she needs to help her daughter?
100% you're the
So,
answer that can help her with her daughter. But what's really going on? Women, I want you to see this because you're going to have this happen a lot with other women. Right? What is really going on when somebody acts like that? Tell me what's really going on. Guys, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat.
I think she's struggling with the same thing I've struggled with. Maybe can I do this and succeed and still be there for my children and give them what they
Right.
need?
Look at you. Look at how amazing you are. That's incredible, right? Can I still do this? Right?
Mhm.
So I would recommend like go into the Sales Boss Suite AI. I would say I'm currently working with this type of prospect. This is what's happened. Curate an audio for me that is 45 seconds long. That's around the can I still do this? Write a declaration over her, showing her that she can do this. And what is the belief that we have to get rid of? Guys, what's the belief we need to get rid of when somebody says something like that? There's a belief that actually has to be like, yes, we want her to come up where the air is where she believes, and she believes she can still do this. But what's the lie she currently believes?
I wonder if there's a hidden belief that she's not going to succeed, but I also think there's a lie that I can't be there for my child and succeed in business. I have to
You
choose one
got
or
it.
the other.
You got it, right? So the belief is that she has to choose success or kids. And partly the problem, guys, is because there's not a lot of women out there. Now, I think it's way more now than there used to be, but not a lot of women out there that are showing that both is possible. To be emotionally present for our children, to run a structured, beautiful home, to have things in order and have one-on-one time and to be, all those things. Women just get so overwhelmed. They're like, I'm either all in corporate, can I get a witness in the chat? Or I'm all in at home. And no one really trains on how to do both. This is why I call everything I do the both and. I'm going to teach you how to, to give if you need an SOP for your house manager, I'll give it to you today. You want those things set up so you can be present, then have a daily ops person every single day is doing this stuff. If your kids come to you, you can be present. So you exactly right, Leanna. I am really proud of you because this is high level thinking right? Can I still do this? I would send the audio around that to say, right, to bring her up where the air is rare around a declaration that brings her to that place of, oh my goodness, you know, absolutely. And that her people are praying for her. And that if she doesn't complete this, like, who's going to do this? Then she might say, everything you said makes sense. However, I don't think I can do both. She may actually say it to you. If she doesn't say it, she might just be, her nervous system's just overwhelmed, right? Nervous system's overwhelmed to say,
I hear a little of that.
right. So it may just be timing. Send her this to encourage her to bring her back up. And then send a question later that says, or something that says, you know, because she's going to reply. So that's why we don't want to have it all worked out, right? Because we know, guys, again, is it worth it if you have a group and people are paying you 50,000, 30,000? Yes or no? Yes.
Yes.
This is why you can't no, none of you can afford to have 500 things and all kinds of one-on-ones and all this stuff all over the map. You're just thrown everywhere all the time. You're tossed in the wind instead of you being the anchor in your world. It's time women start to be the anchor in their own worlds. So you don't know what she's going to reply.
Wow.
Right? We're the anchors. Come on. Right? Like there's this, but what we have to equip women. This is why, like I wrote the female founders version of Buy Back Your Time. I messaged Dan Martell back and I said, this is what I've done. And he said, well, it's just not my focus right now. He says, if you can pay me, Christian will probably tell you, I can't remember how much. If you can pay me X amount of dollars, multiple millions, then I'll take a little bit of time out to do. I'm like, dude, that's not okay. Because this is just actually super helpful for women, which is all right. I'm just going to rebrand the title and come up with something else. But women need to know they can do both. Yes, everyone? Yes. So success or kids. So you can now, and don't make it geared towards her because you're getting more sophisticated and you're building things out now. So I would have it in there in boards. I would have it as, you know, sometimes, there has been a lie that has permeated our culture and even in our churches. Right? There is a lie that's been permeated in our churches and our culture that women have to choose. They have to choose being successful, or they have to choose being fully present with your kids. Are you open? Everyone write this down if you're a woman, because you're going to have to use this at some point. Are you open to the possibility that you can do both? And would you be open to a conversation so I can show you how? Right? Are you open to the possibility? And right, you want to ask the question because she's going to say, what is she going to say? If her nerves aren't on fire, because there are actual moments, we've all been there as parents. You know, your child falls, something happens, you get a call from school. You know, I remember when Bella was like at Christian school this year and she didn't want to do a presentation because she didn't like the person, blah, blah, she had to do it with. And her friend were hiding in the bathroom, standing on the toilet so the teachers couldn't see their feet while they were on phone call with me, which made me feel really good because it's like, wow, they're not afraid of me. I'm so thankful that my kids call me. Right. But we have those moments, right? You had that moment with me last week, Leanna. Bella was in up north at a camp. She's at a doctor's office. They're going to FaceTime me. I'm going to have a call with a client. We all have moments. So this is a beautiful thing about all of you because you've all been kind and graceful towards people. Now you can talk the same way to others, right? When you're asking, there has been a lie. You're stating it. This is where you are actually persuading her now. Sorry, you're persuading her now because she agrees, but she's got to agree. If she says, yes, oh my goodness, you understand me. She feels seen and heard. She's going to say, yes, but like, I don't think I can do both. And then you say, there is this lie that permeates our culture that says women have to choose between the two. Would you be open to the possibility that that's a lie? And would you be open to having a conversation for a few minutes so I can show you how to do both? And any woman who's a founder, so guys, you can actually, I mean, I don't want you to copy everything I do, but I don't care to a degree. Anything that I share that is massive wisdom that you implement in your lives and it works, recreate it through my Sales Boss Suite AI, which is AI I've created, put it in there, and then create your own version of it and add it as a lead magnet to your prospects. Because they're wrestling with the very same things, and you want to show them that they can do it. I am really thankful I had 11 kids. I'm really thankful
Me
I had
too.
10 kids under 13. I'm really thankful I built my business as a single mom with 1 billion kids. Like, I'm really thankful because I wouldn't have the skill set. And I want to share everything. I want you guys to know every detail. I want everyone who works with me go, I don't feel like it's possible. Show me how it's possible. So you're in that moment with her, a possibility, right? Like, she's like, okay, I don't know. I don't know. Can I do this? Am I like, I don't know. I got all this stuff and my kid, I'm in these problems. Please, everyone here, your money will come from not turning away from difficult situations. Everything you want in life is on the other side of a hard conversation. When you're willing to ask those kinds of things, are you going to go up in your skill set too, Leanna?
Oh, I have to. I was like, thank you, God, because this morning Mike and I were having a conversation about one of our children, and I was like, I can't quit on her and I can't quit on my whole family. I have to find a way to do this and be a good mom. So now God is leveling me up so that I can help another woman level up.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's a beautiful thing, right? Because it actually is true proof, because you're having to go through it and you're teaching from the place that you've done it yourself. Okay, so go implement those things right now before you forget, and we'll dial back. Let us know how that goes, okay? All right, who is next? Who needs help next to be able to go in? Who needs help next? Who needs help next? Who needs help next? Who needs help next? Come on, people. You guys step right in. So the next thing I want to work on, so we've taken a look at this, and I know there's more to it. And of course, for the purpose of this week, I can't go into every detail. I have thousands of trainings. So what I'm looking at here is we can look at this, or if you're somebody who has an objection. Gila, do you have a objection that you get from somebody and you're just like, I have no idea what to do or where to go from here with them? Like, I need to think about it. I need more time. I can't afford it. I've invested before. I'm not ready.
It's funny because the discussion you just went through, I feel like is a very difficult one for me because I find myself in that conundrum a lot. And I only have 2 kids. And yet, I find myself in the feeling like I'm compartmentalized and constantly struggling. Also in part because of what you said about being in the weeds, but the can I really have it all the conversation. So I feel like if I have not yet played that beast, how can I really help others? Although I also know you can't read the label from inside the bottle, and it's much easier oftentimes to help someone else,
Yes.
even when we're stuck in something.
Plus, you are also just picture when you make the transition. Okay, so let's picture simplicity for yourself right now. That, because you're also imagining trying to. So for me, when I look at working with and creating a business, and this is how I would simplify what I do, I help people build a business that their nervous system feels safe in. That's it. That's what I do. And I think that's what you would like to do. And I think that's what your prospects would like. And so actually, and about constraint theory. So if you are, and I'm just going to use the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm not saying that's what you're going to decide on. And I know Thursday's looking a little lean there, but it doesn't matter. We've got weekend on both sides, right? Let's say you're with your kids, or the opposite, right? Whatever, it doesn't matter. You pick a shorter amount of time that you're working, and you make a constraint, and you stop changing things for other people. That is probably one of my biggest weaknesses, because as my heart as a mama and having so many kids, one kid is like, we had it already this week. One kid's like, well, we'd like to have a pool day and blah, blah, and everybody have a barbecue. And then my other daughter's like, oh, okay, I'd love to go too. And then she's like, oh, but I couldn't do this day. And then the other daughters, and then the other person, and before you know it, we have no way, we can't do this. It's not working out. So you just have to make a decision. And I usually have it pretty firm. but I have a little bit more this summer with Bella not here. So if you make that decision and you build a business in here, that's all you're working. Okay, all of you can copy this model. You're only doing that. So in the morning, you have self-care. You have leadership time where you are training and teaching your team. You're sending out like Proverbs 31. It tells you right in it. I actually have the new Sheila translation because of course I changed my name from Sheila to Heaven. But back then I wrote this whole Proverbs 31. So if you guys want it, I'll send it to you. It's kind of funny. But it's just like we do the thing. We do the thing that Proverbs 31 says. We like get our team ready. We have the things for the day ready, whatever the event is, whatever we're doing. They're doing all daily ops. Like I literally don't open my phone. I wake up in the morning, I never open my phone. I don't look at my texts. I don't look at my emails, nothing, ever. I have certain things I do. I drink apple cider vinegar as soon as I wake up or lemon and water. If it's a really good day, I can wait to drink coffee. I go straight to hot yoga or with weights, or I go for a walk or I do some kind of activity. I spend some kind of time in the Word. I do something. I pray over my clients, my people. I get a word from the Holy Spirit. Like it's like, this is what's next. Like even before Tavia started talking about something, I was already like, we're going to do this. We're going to get it all geared towards this. And then as she's sharing stuff, it's like, oh, this is exactly where we're at. Let's bump it up this level to being a method and a brand. Right, so you do that. Then you're stepping into where you are creating content, closing sales, giving like team feedback. Again, I have a 10-80-10 rule with my team. And I teach this in my team training. So the training that my team has made, we'll talk about this. I tell the first 10% and I don't want to hire people that don't know how to do stuff. So I tell the vision for the 10%, then they give full executive ownership for the 80. I don't micromanage. I'm not like, how's it going with that? Have you sent those? I can't stand having to talk to people like that. And then I dial back before they execute on it and push the go button. They come in and check in with me so I can give some feedback of like, this needs to be a certain way. Now, certain things I don't even touch at all. Like my most recent banner I like, if you guys have seen it, I like the picture. It looks really good. I didn't even I was like, just make it and upload it. I was like, that's pretty good. Okay. So there's certain things I just don't ever get involved in. So you want to lead your team, you're creating content, you're doing the high level closing of sales, and that is your days. So you may do, let's say you want to bring in 2 new clients a week. This is just if you are. There are weeks that you may not even be able to do this if you're working full time still, or it's not your plan or something along those lines. It may be not. But if you're going to need to do 4 strategy calls a week, and you want to be doing probably about 8 10-minute calls a week. And you're going to be leading team, like you're leading your clients. You're going to be creating that content, talking with them. This is $1 million. Right here. Founders have to have space to become the person at the next level. If you are tightly scheduled and you are overpacked in your schedule, you have no room to become your next level. And you can't have that if you don't have a system to be paid well. So part of this, Gila, is you going, I'm making a decision that I don't work with anybody less than this. I only work group. I don't do one-to-one. I'll only do one-to-one if it's an offer over 100K. I'll show you how to do all that. Right? But you've got to make those decisions just like those are decisions. They're non-negotiable. And you'll be tested because you'll have somebody come to you and go, oh, I have $1. Will you work with me? And you'll be like, oh, okay, sure. And then you go, I failed. Then you got to go through it again. But if you make the decision and this is what you're going to do, now this is the vacuum law of prosperity. Somebody put vacuum law. This is the vacuum law of prosperity. You are now creating a vacuum for abundance to come into. And you're saying the holy no to any other parameters around it. Now, you can make decisions. For me, there's certain people that I give access to if they wanting help with a sale, and I will respond to them outside of any hours that and this isn't necessarily my hours, but I will respond to them outside because I've given them access and I like them. If I like you, it'll be way easier. So you have to remember that too. If you really like somebody, it's okay to give access. If they're doing the work, they're implementing quickly and they're coming back to you, that's awesome because they're going to be successful. They're going to be like raving fans. They're going to give you testimonies. So when you are working with your people, I want you again. So this is part of it. You're going to first go through, the enemy's going to lie to you and say, what, you don't make that kind of money. What do you mean you've never even done your group before. You just have to just ignore it. Ignore it, ignore it, ignore it. You ever been somewhere with a kid who's super disobedient and disrespectful? Come on, everybody, you got to be with me. If you're a parent, you've had one moment. If your kids are perfect, send them over here. We'll do a relocation system. I'll send my kids to you. Okay? But if you've had a moment where you're at a grocery store or you're at church and they're just being a total brat, can I just say it out loud? Can I say that word out loud?
Yeah.
So difficult. And you're like inside your body, you can feel that you are just building up of all that stress. Come on, everybody. But you just had to stay calm because you were talking to your pastor or your boss or somebody that was like asking you questions. And inside you're like trying to not let the freak out factor freak out. That's what you have to do to get to your next level. Once you get through that, your nervous system can stay calm from then on. Because you busted through that ability. And you know what, Gila, you do that already and not get paid. You do that already and have people, you know what I'm saying? You do that already.
Yes. Yeah, I
You
was
know
just
how to do
thinking,
it.
I was just thinking that, and I busted through so many of those levels. Yes.
So now it's going, I'm genuine to what I'm saying because I'm actually, this is my future self. I'm genuine to what I'm saying because this is actually where God's called me. I'm genuine to what I'm saying because this is what I want. I don't want to be overworked. And set up in your schedule, all of you guys. If you put in right now your date night, your self-care, when you have a massage, when you get your nails done, when you do your hair, in November, every year I do the preloaded year training. So watch for that, guys. It maps out your entire year. But I will literally map out my hair, everything for a whole year, get it all booked out. And just have it all. If you have all that in there, your date night, when you're going to go on vacay, come on, girls, we like to have fun. Put all that in there and then add up just that. You're going, okay, I'm going to 10x that because I want to be a giver. I'm 10xing that because I'm not going to say no to the things that make me feel good. You reverse engineer that. Put it all in your calendar. Your cash flow follows your calendar. Put it in your calendar. Put it already set up. Make some decisions. If you are going to be building this out, you may need to set some real parameters with your kids. You may need to say, you know, when we're going to do this. And one thing for you too, Gila, and this is for me too, and I'm just being real, is I had to force myself to turn it off. Because I don't talk necessarily like this. I'm a little bit softer and like, you know, a little more, you know, just more like in the kid space. That you have to make that commitment. But here's what ends up happening. If you don't price yourself well, you're going to sound like nails on a chalkboard when you're with your kids. Right? And they're the brunt of it. Can we just be real, guys, about this? Like, the more that we're actually real, there's real healing, real deliverance, real change. So you do this and you just start stepping into it and step into it and step into it and step into it. Of course, there's skills that are all not being shared here that you've got to master. This is mastery all through in this. And then you listen to it on your weekends. You listen to my voice, you listen to the training, you implement, you're starting to learn, but you're not working. You're just listening in the background. You're just getting better at your craft. You're just getting better at your craft. You just keep getting better. Self-improvement, reading books, all kinds of things. Implementing fast, connecting with higher level people. But if you close 2 or 3 of those sales, then you can easily be able to now say to other women and say, this is the framework that I've learned and I want you to follow. And it won't be for everybody, but guys, if it's for everybody, it's for no one. Write that down. If it's for everybody, it's for no one. You've got to make it so that you're able to whisper the voices. You're able to whisper to your people, and they're listening and they want to hear so much what you have to say. Is that helpful, Gila?
Thank you.
You betcha. All right, guys, we only have 5 more minutes. So I would rather use the time for any question anybody has. Because you guys showed up, like, to me, and I have so much training, and I love to give you training. If there's anything you want to know about scaling to 30K months, scaling to 100K months, doing a first million, all the biblical sides of anything, any question you have, you can reach out to me. I know I've done a training on it. I'll send it to you. Okay, for that. But if there is anything else on a belief bridge, moving people forward, we got 5 minutes, 4 minutes, we can do it. Tavia, do you want to hop in?
Yes, please.
Okay, come on in.
Coach
How
Heaven,
can I help?
you are so amazing. Like, thank you so much. This has been so beautiful, and I appreciate all of it, all of it. So thank you again.
You're so welcome. How can I help you best?
My question is, okay, so I did a triage call, but it was longer than 10 minutes with a couple, both of them at the same time, because I had talked to the
Okay.
wife one-on-one and I wanted to bring them both together. Um, in my rush, when I was getting off the call, because I think I had something else to do, I did not book their strategy session. So they have the offer and she confirmed that they received it. They would look over it and they would read over it. In the event that occasion like this happens and I forget, for whatever reason, to book and nail down the strategy session at that time, is there a preferred method to move to the strategy session?
Right. So how long ago was that?
Today is Wednesday. So the call was on Saturday night, and the offer was sent to them Sunday. No, I think Monday morning, because yes. And so, yes, and they received the offer on Monday.
And you're clear on their gap.
So their gap changed. But
Okay.
yes, at first they were like, oh, we want to make about $6,000 more. And then by the time we were done doing the call and talking about vision, and then the gap was $11,000 a month.
Right. And even when it's 11,000, like, often when people say that it's 11,000, I say, that is awesome if you only want to care about your household. But after our conversation, I'm hearing that you want to solve and then say all the things that they want to solve. Would you like to revisit that monthly amount on our next call?
I like that.
I love that face. That's the Tavia's, like, that right there. That's the face Tavia, that right there. Right? Would you like to revisit? Right? So just saying that is, there's no pressure here. What's she going to say?
Absolutely.
She's absolutely. You say awesome. Right? So it's a segue, but it's so genuine, guys. This is so real and so genuine, because I want people to just be burst out of their, because people do all this, like, oh, I really want to, like, fund widows and orphans, and I want to put in all these wells and blah, blah, blah. How much do you want to make? Just enough to be able to take care of me. You're like, whoa, who just came in the room right now? Right? It's like there's cognitive dissonance is what it's called. So you need to break her out of her cognitive dissonance. So now that you did, she says, absolutely. You say, amazing. I just had 10 a.m. Eastern open up, whatever your time is, on Friday. That's enough time? Does that suit for your husband and you? She may say, because if they work full time, she may say, if you already know Saturday night's going to be a good time, just say, my plans, people coming for dinner just canceled. Would you like to meet at 5 o'clock on Saturday? Or whatever time that is. But you guys, you have to say, I just had it open. Don't act like you got all the time in the world, because you don't. Mm-hmm. You really don't. Like, if we're really honest, we really don't. So when we act like we have all the time in the world to strangers, we tell people that we love the most we don't care about them. Come on. Yep, that one just whipped through the whole place. And she's going to say, yes, now you have the strategy call booked. And then don't do it right away. Like, so today you do this first about this. You say this. Then she says, absolutely. Then you say, amazing. Then you say, I just had this open, and you get the call booked. Once it's booked, then you send the agenda for tomorrow or agenda for Friday. I would send it like tonight, or if it's Saturday, send it tomorrow morning. And again, if she doesn't say anything, right? If people don't say anything, it's not a good sign. If they don't say anything, they're not buying. The more that they say, well, I'm concerned about this, or I'm wondering about this, or how does it work, and when does it start, and I don't know how I'm going to fund it. And like once they start saying objections are actually yeses in disguise. You just haven't learned how to unlock it till now. You excited, Tavia? You going to close that?
Absolutely.
Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Great job. Well,
Thank you.
guys, we are you betcha, we're at the top of the hour. So I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. Homework. I want everyone to send another 10 audios. Can you guys see how having some automation, AI, and having a team could really make your life better? Anyone? But if you don't have a system that your nervous system feels safe in, you're going to keep self-sabotaging. You've got to get that. Your body will keep saying, no, 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 no. And you're wondering, why am I not closing sales? Well, it is a skill set. You need the skill set to master sales and close sales. I am going to be sharing an offer tomorrow. You must have a skill set. You must have a skill set. If you think it's not a skill set, you're like delusional. Like to me, it's just like law school. It's just like doing an MBA. It's just like doing I would say, I have a pastoral background too. I wouldn't say that was as hard, but it's hard spiritually, right? It's hard on you. Like you got to like be really like, committed. But these are skills. So send the 10 messages. Think of the highest level questions. If you're super stuck, ask me. But think of the highest level. How can I unlock this person so well that they will start to be able to share the things? Because there's a direct correlation between your ability to unlock so well and them to say, she has what it takes to take me there. When we pitch, we actually water down our authority. I'm just going to say this quick, because when you meet somebody, you go somewhere, you go anywhere, and you start asking questions like, like, this is really amazing. It's really cool that you're here. I'm just wondering about, and how about your kids and your family? They go away saying, I just met the most amazing person, right? They say that because you only ask them questions about them. Give it a try on people that there's no risk. Like just give it a try when you're out in public. Give it a try to unlock and ask questions. You're going to be blown away at your next networking event. Step into something you see about somebody. Say, I'm seeing this in you and I'm just curious about, I'm wondering. Wonder and curiosity creates billions. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern. You have any questions, you reach out because I'm there for you. Big love. Unmute. Say goodbye. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.